Hi, my name is Amy. Welcome back to my channel. Today, instead of doing some sewing, I'm going to be working on a piece of embroidery. And I have a pretty major disaster partway through it. In June, I was gifted this book, Austen Embroidery, Regency Patterns Reimagined for the Modern Stitcher. It's by Jennie, Batchelor and Alison, Larkin. My friend Crindolin sent it to me. We both have an obsession with Jane Austen, and so it was a perfect gift. The first thing I did when I got the book was not read it like you normally would do. Of course, I flipped through and looked at all the different embroidery patterns, and one of the patterns happened to be the cover for a Georgian tea box or tea caddy. I immediately decided I wanted to make that pattern, and I wanted to make it for Crindolin because she owns an organic tea company out of Long Beach, Washington called Beach House Teas. And we'll link it. Oh, I don't think I can link. I will put a link down below for Beach House Teas. This video is the process of me embroidering the top of the tea box and then messing up the first embroidery pretty royally and having to re-embroider it. So with that, let's get to work.
The first step in this project was to transfer the embroidery pattern from the book to the embroidery stabilizer. I used Sulky printable self-adhesive water-soluble stabilizer, which I have linked down below. I taped the book page to my light box, and I also taped the piece of stabilizer to the book. I used a standard pencil to trace the pattern from the book to the top side of the stabilizer. Once the pattern was traced, I cut as close to the edge of the pattern as I could, removed the backing, and stuck it to my fabric. Then I peeled it up and turned it 90 degrees because I realized I had placed it incorrectly. I placed the fabric in a hoop and got ready to embroider. I followed the color examples given in the book, using silver for the stems, 2 shades of green for the leaves, and 2 shades of red for the berries. Then came the disaster.
So here's the finished embroidery. It looks pretty good, especially since embroidery is definitely not my specialty. However, I tried to wash the washable stabilizer off the back, and let me adjust the red bled. I'm so disappointed. So instead of redoing all of the embroidery, I'm going to try RIT dye remover and see if that works. And I'm just going to apply it with a Q-tip so that I don't actually remove the dye from the floss, just the fabric. And if that doesn't work, then I guess I get to make this all over again.
The disaster ended up being a little bit of a blessing in disguise because in the book they used a green silk for the top of the tea box, and I think that ended up looking much better than the original sand color I had chosen. The large stems were embroidered using a reverse chain stitch, and the smaller stems were completed using a regular chain stitch. Both were done with silver thread. Metallic thread is the devil, just in case you didn't know. It's awful. It tangles, it gets wound up. I really didn't like using it. The berries were all made using a padded satin stitch. The stitch is worked over a piece of cardstock the same shape and size as the berries. This makes a nice raised area of stitching. Once I finished the berries, I started on the leaves. Both leaf colors were completed using a slanted satin stitch.
You're gonna have to bear with a little bit of shaky camera here because this came today and I never thought I would receive anything from Fortnum & Mason. But here's the kicker. I'm not keeping this. I'm using this as part of the gift. So I was too excited, so I didn't film the unboxing. But I will open it all up and show you what I've done with what I purchased from Fortnum & Mason. If you remember a couple months ago, I posted, at least on my Instagram stories, about receiving a book from my best friend, The Embroidery of Jane Austen. But this pattern was included in the book, and it was for the top to a tea box. My dad is an amazing woodworker, so I gave him the book and the finished embroidery, and he made this tea box for me. So my best friend, who sent me the book, owns an organic tea company. She's based out of Long Beach, Washington. It's called Beach House Teas, and I will include a link down below. Originally, this was going to be for her birthday, but I made it on sand-colored silk, and the embroidery floss bled when I rinsed off the stabilizer. But I went ahead and made the embroidery again on this green silk, which is actually accurate to the book, and my dad built the box. So let's look inside the box. So since I didn't have this ready for Crindolyn for her birthday, it's going to be kind of a late birthday, early Christmas present. So there's the box, and that is what I did with the Fortnum Mason tea. Just for size reference, This is 50 tea bags, so the box is about 9 to 10 inches wide by maybe 8 inches deep. One more little detail. My dad has a brand that he uses when he makes woodworking projects. And so the underside of the box is branded. And I told him he needed to do that because she grew up with him as well. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and watching me make and remake the cover for the Georgian tea caddy that my dad made and putting together the gift for my friend Crindolin. I really appreciate every single one of you for watching, subscribing, and for hanging out with me once a week. I hope you all had a great holiday season. Thanks for watching.